This is Crypto Core Radio, discussing the ideas, people, and projects building the new digital economy. Get the latest on blockchain technology and cryptocurrency updates with your host, Lutz.
Hello and welcome to Crypto Core Radio. This is Lutz coming to you live on the weekend. I know I don't want to bother you. I'm sorry, you're probably eating right now, but you got to put the chicken down. Just put the chicken down and listen to this interview. It's going to be 30 minutes, and I promise you the food will taste the same right after you eat it. So today we have NutellaLicka. And my favorite thing in the world is Nutella. Unfortunately, I love it, but it does not love me in return.
How you doing?
What's up, brother?
Yeah, not much. I also dabble in a bit of Nutella. It's quite good.
Oh my dude, that stuff's like crack.
Yeah,
it's crack. I could sit there and eat that shit all night.
Yeah, I think they must put that in there.
I sometimes I like to rationalize it, like I'm just making a sandwich with Nutella, right? But you know that shit's crack.
Yeah, and you have to have a spoonful afterwards anyway, too, right?
I'd say, dude, if I can't find a spoon, I just throw my finger in there, man. I just start using my finger.
Oh dear.
So today, NutellaLicka is here to tell us about chips. Chips is another Komodo type of coin, Komodo platform coin. Only this is actually really old. It's not a new coin. Chips has been around, I don't know, I'd like to say like three years.
Yeah, start of 2017, I believe, was when the development first started.
Yeah.
So it's been around a little while. It was first, I guess, spearheaded by Komodo's lead dev, JL777. It's a little different coin. It doesn't follow the normal standards in terms of block times. So it's a 10-second block time. So it's got a really quick block time, I suppose. And because it's been around for quite some time, most of the supply is actually already currently mined. So the reward itself is quite small, but that doesn't mean the coin is any less valuable.
Now, yeah, I've seen a few people mining it. 1 second here. You get these Windows update, little pop-up Windows update, more information. And there's no X. You can't close the fucking thing. I got no luck. Today I got no luck, bro.
Nah.
So as far as mining, what was the algorithm that it was mined on, and who would you say the community was that was mining it?
Yeah, so I guess originally it was a Bitcoin fork, so it's using the SHA-256 algorithm and has all the the backbones behind it are Bitcoin. But we're currently facing the problem of such a small block reward because of those quick block times that miners it's just not it's too expensive to mine, I guess. And with the SHA-256 algorithm, we're finding that if people put a lot of hash onto it, it can actually create a stagnation in the blocks. So there's development ongoing, which I guess I can talk about later, to port the algorithm to Verihash v2. But I guess before we go into the mining side of the house, I can speak to exactly what chips is for the people that don't know.
Yeah, so I'm looking at chips for the first time, right? It looks very colorful. It looks like a poker chip. What is it? What's its relation to poker? What could I do with it? What's it about?
Yeah, so chips is the currency that will be used for a decentralized, secure, on-chain poker application. So the whole idea behind chips is that there's a couple of different protocols that work together to allow people to play poker with each other in a peer-to-peer like fashion. So unlike other forms of or current forms of poker applications, say some of the big ones, they use their own servers and they are running their own applications on their servers, and all people do is join their servers to play the game. And although some of them might accept cryptocurrency as a form of payment, you're still using their servers and their applications to run the game. Whereas the difference with chips is that the programs that run this poker application, they're all peer-to-peer. So they use an actual blockchain for the cryptocurrency itself. They have a decentralized method of like a peer-to-peer method of shuffling the deck that uses a specific cryptographic function, and then it also uses this lightning network technology to create these real-time betting applications. Because as you probably understand, Bitcoin has quite high fees, it has slow block times, and has poor transactions. And if you want to play a game of poker, you need to have a lot of transactions occurring at once, which maybe an individual bet might be a transaction. So we use this lightning network technology to create those real-time bets, which then at the end of the game are then put into the main blockchain of chips. So there's no centralized entity that are running servers to create the application for you to then join. It's just everybody can download these applications and start their own tables. They can become players. So that's kind of the idea behind it.
That's really impressive. So is there any other type of technology out there trying to do this? I mean, I know a couple of them, but I'm pretty sure they use servers.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I guess is the answer to the question. I don't know of any other ones that do it specifically like Chips is trying to do. Like you said, I think there are poker applications that accept cryptocurrency as a form of payment, and you can use cryptocurrency as a form of payment, but it's much like an exchange where you deposit your cryptocurrency to their wallets, and then they just their own database that keeps track of your bets and how much cryptocurrency actually owe you. So that you're not carrying out on-chain transactions,
right,
when you're playing the poker itself.
That's awesome. So this the GUI, let's talk about what it looks like. So how, if I wanted to play the game, how would that, if I wanted to play some poker in a decentralized fashion with my friends, how would I go about doing that?
Yeah, so at the moment, we're still very much in development phase. So there's currently what developers like to call an ugly GUI. So this is a very basic, it doesn't look good at all. It's just there to prove and test the functions and features of the backend development. So I would say right now, you may be able to play some command line interface with another party, but in terms of playing like a full 9-person table poker, we're just not quite there yet, and that is slowly being developed, and hopefully within quite potentially the next few weeks, we'll have a good-looking GUI which is being worked on that will have multiple players being able to play the game. But in terms of like actually playing the game, the idea behind it, as I spoke about before, is that there's 3 different programs or protocols that you'll need to run. One is the chips blockchain itself. So it's necessary to create transactions, store your coins, have the wallet there. The next one is the Lightning Network. So if you're unfamiliar with that, it was designed, I guess, for Bitcoin itself to get around those slow slow transaction per second and the high transaction fees. So what it does is it's an off-chain ledger of all the transactions that occur. So everybody puts in to create the off-chain ledger. Everyone puts in an amount of money, and then you can create as many transactions as you like with that person. And then when you want to close the channel, so say for example at the end of a poker game, there's one person, the ledger is then written onto the blockchain. So we use the Lightning Network to create instantaneous transactions between everyone at the poker table. And then at the end of the game, the dealer will then shut the Lightning Network channel and pay whatever winnings to whatever players win. So that's the second one. And then the third one is the Pangea protocol. So the Pangea protocol is used for deck shuffling. So as you can imagine, like a peer-to-peer network, you don't want everyone to know what cards you have, and you want them to remain secret to everybody else. But then at some point during the game, that you want to be able to then show your card to everyone else, and you want to make sure that there's only 52 cards in the deck. There's no double ups of cards. People don't have the same cards, that sort of thing. So what Pangea protocol does is it uses a cryptographic function called Shamir secret key sharing. And I don't want to go too much into the technical side of it because I'm not super swept up on it, but more or less it gives a part of a secret key out to every person on the table. And then in order to see the cards at the end of the game, you need to then, everyone needs to share that key back to then unlock it, kind of like a multi-signature wallet. Similar to that, but people can have a read up on that. So that's pretty cool technology as well. So to play the game, you'd need to download the 3 of them and then just run those daemons. You also need a dealer. So like a conventional table, you still need a dealer. What this dealer does is they more or less act as the center entity for the table. They don't have any control over the gameplay per se, but they set up the table. They'll set up the blind limits. They'll set up the min and max buyout. They coordinate, getting all of the players together. So it's just more or less like a single server per se, or single node that everyone can join to then play with each other. So you have the dealer, then you have the player, obviously, so the player node, so that's everyone on the tables, and then you have this other one called the blind vector, blinding value vector. Sorry, and what this does is makes sure that the dealer doesn't have any way to collude with the players on the table. So they're just more or less blinding the data from the dealer so that they can't do anything malicious with it. So they're the three nodes that are required to actually play the game.
So the dealer can't play?
No, the dealer just sets the table up and coordinates the Lightning Network channels, and also making sure that people are able to see each other. So I'm sure, like, if a dealer sets up another node, they can play on other tables and that sort of thing. But the idea is just that anybody can become a dealer. They can start their own dealer daemon and start their own table, and they are rewarded with 0.25% of the rate for doing so. So there's an incentive to actually start up tables there.
You can have a job as a dealer, virtual dealer on chips.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
I mean, you could have, how many tables do you think one person could handle?
I'm not sure. We haven't done tests on, and obviously it depends on your server size and that sort of thing. So.
Okay. That's what she said. So, what's the actual coin itself? What's the supply at the moment, and what's the circulating supply? Do you know that off the top of your head?
Yeah, I think it's about 20 million, and the circulating supply is about 20 million. So the block reward at the moment is very, very small. So there won't be much of an increase over the next, however many years. So I think at the moment it's about 21 million. Sorry, I misspoke there.
Now you mentioned that the coin itself is going to be changing to Verus hash. Does that give you any more benefits? Like how's Lightning Network going to work when changing the algorithm from the Bitcoin network, at SHA-256 to something like Verus? Isn't that like a hard job to change everything that's already working?
That's a good question. I'll give you my non-developer explanation of that. So the reason, as I spoke about before, changing to Verus hash is because of the problem with block stagnation. So with low block reward, miners don't want to mine it. If miners don't want to mine it, there's no blocks being produced. So then you're unable to play the games because you can't transact on the block. So to come around it, as a community, what we came up with is switching to the Verus hash v2 algorithm, which is CPU mineable. So more or less what this does is it gives more people the ability to support the blockchain in the meantime. So not many people want to spend the amount of money required to run SHA-256 miners, whereas CPU miners, anyone and everyone can more or less do that. What it also does is it opens up the opportunity in the future for us to enable players to mine. So
I was just going to say that.
Yes. So what the idea is that potentially in the future, each player will have, say, one core of their CPU whilst they're playing the game, mine the algorithm. So this is more or less what it's doing is it's not wasting resources. It's securing the blockchain with the amount of players, so it's fully scaled to the amount of players. If there's a lot of players, there's a lot of hash being put on to the network. And then if there's not many players, there's less hash being put onto the network. So it's all not wasting resources there. The way it's actually going to occur, I'm not 100% sure. We've got one of the Hush and Komodo devs, Duke Leto. He's currently carrying out a bounty task to port the algorithm in. So I'm not sure of the specific ins and outs of doing that, but it's quite a big job from what I understand.
Yeah,
and I guess that'll remain to be seen how exactly that's going to work. But I understand that the functions of like the Lightning Network and everything will still remain the same. It'll just be an algorithm change.
Now the FPGAs, don't they already have Verus Hash 2.0?
Yeah, they do. So again, without going into too much detail, Verus Hash v1 FPGAs have a huge benefit over CPUs. So then they went to Verus Hash v2, and it's more or less more even, I guess, mining. So there's no massive amounts of hash power that can be put on in a short period of time.
Gotcha.
So the output of an FPGA is similar to that of a CPU, rather than 200 times more.
Gotcha. All right, that sounds about right. Is Verus 2.0 already implemented in Verus? I haven't really looked into it.
I'm not 100% sure. I haven't been keeping my finger on the pulse of Verus. It's hard enough to keep up with the Komodo ecosystem.
I know there's so many coins to look at. It's driving me nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, what are any future plans for chips? As far as if I wanted to play strip poker with a few chips.
You could.
Maybe we could add some cameras, so we could actually prove that they're taking off their shirts.
Yeah, I mean, if you're into that thing, I'm sure there's sites already available. I guess for the future of chips at the moment, what we're currently working on is that Verus Hash port. So once that's done, that'll be a big step up for us, we believe. The next one is the GUI that's currently being worked on. So Hyperdex is funding a GUI. We have a React.js dev working with our main dev SG777, and they've come up with like quite a nice looking GUI. Again, within potentially the next couple of weeks, we should be able to play just some smaller tables worth of people poker, mainly for testing because we're still developing the back end. But that'll be another huge leap. The other one that's probably more on the far horizon is crypto conditions. So I'm not fully knowledgeable on the topic, but from what I understand is that chips will be using crypto conditions to allow support for other coins. So you'll be able to, for example, you might be able to use Komodo to bet at a poker table using the chips infrastructure. And then also they'll be used for other things like dispute resolution and such. So that's pretty exciting, and hasn't been talked about too much. So that'll be interesting to see where that goes.
And I imagine it would be all the Equihash type coins, not just Komodo.
Yeah, exactly. So that should allow support for many other coins. So if a dealer wants to set up a table in Pirate, for example, there's potential. Well, actually, that's a bad example. If they want to use
why not? Verus, I love Pirate.
Yeah, I love Pirate as well, but I don't know whether whether they support crypto conditions yet or not. Potentially in the future. But if you wanted to use Verus Hash, for example, a dealer would just set up a table that accepts Verus Hash only. Sorry, Verus only.
Gotcha. And it's as far as as far as tracking is concerned, because gambling is illegal in New York. You're not allowed to gamble, but the government's allowed to sell you 100 lotto tickets or more. So
yeah.
So apparently they don't like competition here. And I'd really like to stick it to them, but there's really no way because nobody will ever show up at my door so I could punch them in the face. But anyway, so it's illegal here. So if they were to spend our tax money to investigate ourselves, right? And would they be able to trace, anything on the blockchain? Because that's why I said I love pirates. One of the reasons why I love pirates is because it's untraceable.
Yeah. I guess.
How protected are we? Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I guess from that point of view, it's much like any other blockchain. So it has an open ledger. You can see all of the transactions that occur on the chip's blockchain. All of the transactions that occur on the Lightning Network aren't actually written into the chip's blockchain, so they occur, and then the very last part of the ledger is the only part that's written. So the initial buy-in is written, and then the payout, I guess, is written as well. So I guess it's as anonymous as that. If you are looking to be more anonymous, then we do have a chips and R pair at an exchange, so you can purchase chips with your R. That's pretty exciting.
Okay.
And then I'd have to see how the back end is looking in the future to see whether we're able to incorporate Tor technology or anything like that for to obscure your IP.
Tor, VPN.
Yeah, exactly.
So people, when you're playing, you got to take precaution. The precaution's not. I mean, we try. The technologies there's some great solutions out. Pirate, but you do have to take precautions yourself. VPNs, look into proxies. More than one VPN. You could have 50 VPNs on at the same time, even more protection, right? Different services.
Yeah.
What other protections? Make sure you have your firewalls up. Make sure you have routers. I have about 5 or 6 routers in between me and just in my home network. So look it up. Check your security, and you have to do this also when sending and receiving Bitcoin, right? So it's something that you do need to do, because the government is spending millions of dollars on these people to decode the blockchain, right? To what's that called? Investigate.
Yeah, like analytics.
The blocks. I mean, I heard millions they're spending of our tax money on it.
Yeah, I guess in terms of chips, we'll have to see in the future whether they'll have Tor support or anything like that. But obviously, these necessary precautions that you talked about are pertinent.
Yeah. So if it's not already there, you got to do these things, people, especially if you want to play.
Yeah. Just changing the topic a little bit, I can talk a little bit about the poker side of the house and just a couple of stats that I've got for you.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so I guess we'll talk about rakes. All poker players like to know what the rake is at a table. So just to kind of standardize, if people don't know what rakes are the amount of money that the table take as a form of payment per se. So at Vegas, for example, each pot they'll take 10%, or at a cash game they'll take 10% of that pot up to $5. So if the pot's $50, I'll take $5 out of that rake. But if the pot is $20, obviously $2 out of that rake. So they take 10% of all of your potential earnings, which is quite a large amount. And they do that to pay for their air conditioners and their dealers and et cetera, et cetera. Other main poker applications will take 3 to 5%. These are the online ones, is typically around that 3 to 5% mark, and they can be even more for tournaments. But what chips will do is it'll take a total of 1% rake. So this is like 3 times lower than the lowest online current poker application. And that 1% rake will get split up into like a 0.5% dev fee. 0.25% will go to the dealer that actually runs the table itself, and then the other 0.25% will go to that blind value vector node as well to I guess spread the love there a bit and incentivize them for doing so. What else? So that's pretty they're pretty good numbers in my opinion as a poker player.
There's a lot of online gambling going on. Not here in New York, but just the brother state, New Jersey, right? in New Jersey, it's legal. So you got a lot of these online casinos going on over there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I see billboards when driving. So when you go into New Jersey, you start seeing the billboards for gambling.
Yeah.
So if the rake is 3 times lower, that means that you're probably going to get a lot of people playing.
Yeah, that's
because
the hope.
poker players don't really care where they play. So
Yeah,
you're
and I know
going to
that
get
online poker is quite large, so there's quite a big market for it. Our At the moment, obviously, as I spoke about, it's very much in the development phase. We've got some really good developers working away. So, as I spoke about earlier, the spearhead developer was JL777. He's passed the baton onto SG777, who's the main developer at the moment, who has a master's in applied cryptology, worked in network security for Samsung, cloud security for Amazon, got super interested in blockchain, and then started writing the cryptographic paper for chips itself, and then also started developing chips. So they're the main developer at the moment. We've got a React.js dev, as I spoke about, Pixel Shove, who's working away at the GUI. We've got a ton of contributors. As a community a community-driven coin at the moment. We've got a heap of people that are working away in their little bits and pieces. We've also got, we're very much tied to Komodo, so a bunch of the Komodo notary nodes have decreed that they're going to contribute part of their notary node rewards. So there's about 8 different notary nodes that are supporting chips themselves, which roughly equals to about 16,000 Komodo, which is awesome. So over the next year, that should give us funds to continue development work, as well as do a bit of marketing on the side. We're creating a website at this point in time, so there's a lot happening.
Okay.
There's a lot more to happen as well, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the website. So I'm guessing there's no website. But
yeah, not at the moment. Yeah.
All right. So those are the team members, and a lot of the team members they're the same team members as the Komodo team, and some of the pirate team. I see.
Yeah. Yeah.
So but you'll see that a lot. There's a lot of cross working going on between projects, and a lot of these people they have a lot of skills. And
yeah, they do.
It's they finish one project, they start working on a different project, and that's great because it seems like Komodo has broken a lot of walls. Where in the past we've seen, coins fight with each other. Where in the Komodo environment, everyone's helping each other. They're not saying your coin is better than mine, right? It's a whole it's a great ecosystem that's being built here.
Yeah, and that's kind of the idea that Chips wants to take as well. As I spoke about, in the future, we'll have crypto condition support that will allow other coins to be used on the Chips poker application. So obviously, Chips will be the backbone of the entire thing and will be the main coin used for the poker application itself. But we try to extend that support out to other coins.
And with the notary nodes, so notary nodes are a part of Komodo, and so people who run the notary nodes, they do get rewards. They make some profit from running it. Hopefully, if they're good, they should.
Yeah.
So with those rewards, a lot of those notary have contributed are helping to fund this chips poker coin. And I'm just trying to simplify it a little bit.
Yeah, no worries.
So that means that there's funding for years to come, right? So until they don't, I guess, if there was no notary assistance, I know we do have great devs that just do it anyway. But would there be any funding if it weren't for the notary nodes?
Yeah, so at the moment we have a community funding drive that's doing not too badly, and then also JL777 is funding the main dev effort at the moment. So he has an invested interest in this, and wants to see it succeed. He came up with the idea. He started the development on it. He's done a lot of coding with it, so he wants to see it succeed.
Right, it's his baby. All right, so
one of many.
Right. So the reason why I would invest in it is because there's going to be funding for many years. So it may not happen now, and it may not happen next week, but chips could be a really powerful poker game that cannot be stopped. It's fully decentralized. It does not work on servers, unlike some other ones out there, like BetKings and I can't remember. So, but there's a lot of coins that claim to be doing this, but it's true. It's kind of like the DEXs that say they're decentralized exchanges when they're really not, like crypto.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's fantastic. So I know there's no website, but how do people learn more about chips? I mean, it seems to be a really hard. And I tried finding information. It's not easy. I found some on Bitcoin Talk, and I found the Discord, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where any other places you could recommend? Yeah,
so I'll put a few links out. Obviously, Discord is where all of the main discussion and chat occurs. There's a heap of knowledge on there. We have a Trello, so just for task allocation and things that we need to do, things that we're working on. There's a Trello that everyone can go and have a look at. It's a public board. Okay. You can see there's a bunch of links in there. There is a website coming, so that's being worked on at the moment. WebWorker01's having that developed. It's looking really nice. Hopefully, we can get some time to put it in there. But I guess the main focus at the moment is definitely that development work. We're trying to make sure that the back end of the code is up to scratch and is what the developers want to see, and make sure it's safe and secure, and filling all of those roles before we start to market it per se. So we're very much sitting back, working away. Once we start getting that working product to the standard that the devs want, we'll put that information out there. I can give you some links at the end that we can put on the bottom of the page if you require. Same with links to exchanges if people are interested as well.
Yeah, definitely. You could even just post it right there inside the Chips Discord, and I'll grab them right from there.
Yeah.
And I'll add it to the bottom of the post.
Yeah, no worries.
Cool. All right, very, very cool, man. Thank you for coming on today.
Yeah, thanks for having you on.
You did a great job. You were very laid back, not very nervous. You sounded good.
Thanks, mate. Hopefully, people got a bit more of an insight into the Chips project.
If you could just do me a favor and just maybe poke Jail77 and say, a lot of people, they're looking for strip poker, not just poker. So
I'll let him know.
it will completely differentiate Chips from any other poker game out there.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome. I mean, it'd be like porno and poker. That's awesome.
Two things everyone loves, right?
Uh-huh.
How good.
I got libraries. All right, guys. If you're out there saying, I can't believe he watches porno, come on, man, you're in denial. You know you do too. That's what the internet is for. All right, I love you all. Thank you for coming on today, NutellaLicka.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
And everybody out there, I love you all, and I hope you enjoyed this about chips. This is Lute signing out.
This has been Crypto Core Radio. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Tell your friends so they can be among the first to learn about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency advancement in the new digital economy.